Welcome back, Giants fans. I mean, how do they keep doing it? I just don't know at this point. The Giants have another upset victory, 5.5, 5-point underdogs, whatever it was coming in, and the Giants beat the Ravens 24-20, improved to 5-1 on the year. And the Giants have been the surprise team in the NFL so far. Every year there's like a couple teams, maybe just one. The Giants have been that team this year that has been the surprise of the NFL. A team that was projected 7 wins coming into the year has won 5 of their first 6 games. I mean, I don't know how they're doing it, but as a fan, I'm enjoying the ride. I'm trying not to think too far ahead, but the Giants' schedule in the upcoming month or so is pretty favorable. So, who knows what this turns into? We'll find out. But the Giants are in a good spot here where they should make the playoffs at this point. I mean, I thought after the Green Bay win, they had a solid chance. And now, after being 5-1, the Giants should be expected to make the playoffs. I mean, they have 2 tough teams in their division with Dallas and the Eagles who are playing right now. But I think right now, with 3 wildcard spots in the NFC and the NFC not being that great, you can think of the Giants as a legitimate playoff team. So we'll see what happens the rest of the way. But sitting here right now, I'm expecting to go to the postseason. The Giants, by the way, already have more wins than they had all of last year when they went 4-13 in Joe Judge's final season. So that one's pretty crazy in itself. But yeah, this game was another one where the Giants were down 20-10, similar to last week in London versus the Packers. And you're thinking to yourself after that Mark Andrews touchdown, there's no way they do it again. Like, the Giants have to get got at some point, right? But somehow, some way, this team just continues to fight, and they just believe that they are the best team any given week. And you can tell that they just have a different confidence about them this year. And although some plays didn't go our way today, like the Fabian Moreau dropped end zone interception. It kind of reminded me of the Adoree Jackson one from last year. The Giants still found a way to get this win, which is very impressive. They just have this winning identity about them. It's no longer like this losing mentality, and we know the Giants in the past would always blow games, but now it just feels like they're always going to find a way to get a win, even when they're not supposed to. I mean, you look at the complete numbers of this game, the Ravens had a lot more yards overall, and like you just look at the team stats and you're like, oh, Baltimore was the better team today, but then you see the final score and it's 24-20 Giants, and like they just find a way to somehow win these games. And from the middle of the third quarter and on, the Giants were the better team. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you look at how this game went. Daniel Jones got sacked and they had to settle for 3. They made it a 13-10 Ravens lead. Then Lamar Jackson, early fourth quarter, he finds Mark Andrews for that touchdown. Really nice catch, good ball placement. But the fourth quarter comes around, and it was all Giants at that point. They had that touchdown drive to Bellinger. There was a nice catch by Marcus Johnson on that drive. And then with 3 minutes to go, the Ravens have the ball. They're still at 3 points, and with 3 minutes, 5 seconds to go, Lamar Jackson has a quarterback sneak, and it looks like the Ravens get the first down. But then they were flagged for an illegal formation, so it pushed them back a bit. The very next snap, bad snap by Baltimore, goes over Lamar's head, tries to make something out of nothing, and throws a very dumb pass, which Julian Love stepped in front of and intercepted, brought it back to about like the 15-yard line or so, put the Giants in a very good spot field position-wise. And even that drive was scary because Daniel Jones did technically throw an interception to Marcus Peters. Thank God it was like pass interference or defensive holding. So the Giants got the ball back on the 1-yard line. Saquon Barkley rushes it in. The Giants go up 24-20. So now they need one more defensive stop. Lamar in the first play had 1 incompletion. The next play, Kayvon Thibodeau off the edge, rookie, first NFL sack, forced fumble. Giants recover. And that was the game. Now, as the Giants were running out the clock, Saquon Barkley had a chance to score a touchdown. And I am like, I know this is like a world of fantasy football, like these things kind of matter, but I think it's such a great move by Saquon because if you watch that Jets-Browns game from week 2, you know that you just might as well go down, take 3 knees and get out of there, right? But Saquon Barkley, being up 4, no timeouts left for the Ravens, had the wherewithal to slide down at the 2-yard line and pretty much end the game right there. I feel like a lot of other players would have just taken the touchdown. Even Brandon Jacobs, the former Giants running back, tweeted that he would have taken that touchdown as well. But it was such an unselfish play by Saquon, a guy in a contract year, by the way, takes a touchdown away from himself just to secure a win for the Giants. So I appreciated that very much. He made the right play. It was a good move for the team. And that's how they got this victory. I mean, the Giants were down 10-7 at half. But I'm saying to myself, look, we're a second half team. We're going to be fine. I tweeted that. And the Giants, of course, they responded. Came out in the late third quarter, fourth quarter, played very well. The Giants got a turnover with the Julian Love interception. The Giants did not turn the ball over offensively, which this is the first game all year. The Ravens defense did not force a turnover, so shout out to Daniel Jones and guys not fumbling the ball. And they come away with another victory that it feels like they just stole from their opponent. But you know what? We don't care. It's all about the final score. It's all about wins and losses. And so far, the Giants are getting wins. And it's not like the Giants offense was overly impressive. And this was a Ravens defense that allowed, I think, the most passing yards per game this year. And the Giants only had 155 passing yards. I mentioned they only had 3.8 yards per play. The Ravens had 7 yards per play offensively. The Giants had 3.8, and they still found a way to win this game, which is like the surprising part. But it was the little things like field position, getting that timely turnover with Julian Love. Those type of things will win ball games for you. We know Justin Tucker missed that field goal early, which is pretty rare. I know it was a long one, but we never see Justin Tucker miss. So that, of course, helped as well. And actually, I just realized that I lied. The Giants did technically have a turnover in this game, but it was like the most BS turnover of all time. It was right before halftime. Daniel Jones was going for a Hail Mary play. He was holding the ball in the pocket long on purpose to let his guys get downfield, and he fumbled. So, like, I don't count that. I know it technically counts on the stat sheet, but, like, whatever. I forgot about it. And another thing that killed Baltimore was penalties. They had 10 penalties resulting in 74 yards. The Giants only had 3 penalties resulting in 25 yards. So the Ravens beat themselves at plenty of points in this game. And the Giants, they had their problems defensively at some points. My God, Mark Andrews could not be stopped. It was so frustrating because watching this game, the Ravens had their wide receiver one out with Rashad Bateman, and like the only guy that was beating you in the pass game was Mark Andrews, and he always seemed to be open. It was so frustrating. He had 7 catches, 106 yards, 1 touchdown, should have been 2 touchdowns, but he dropped the other one in the third quarter. And even Kenyon Drake, I'm eating crow on that one because I said in my preview video, I am not worried about Mike Davis or Kenyon Drake. Those guys are kind of washed. And then Kenyon Drake came out here and killed the Giants. 10 carries, 119 yards, 11.9 per carry, and the rushing touchdown. I remember Kenyon killed the Giants back in 2020 when he was with the Cardinals, so maybe it's a Kenyon Drake versus the Giants thing. I have no idea. But then you had Lamar Jackson on the ground, 7 carries, 77 yards. That was impressive. But outside of those 3 guys, nobody on the Ravens offense really did jack squat. J.K. Dobbins, 7 carries, 15 yards. The second leading receiver on the Ravens was Isaiah Likely, their backup tight end, with 2 catches for 30 yards. And there were so many guys that stepped up for the Giants defense today. Dexter Lawrence, once again, another sack. He ties his career high for sacks in a season. I think in 2020, Dexter Lawrence had 4 sacks. He already has 4 sacks, in October here in 2022. So he's off to a fantastic start, playing for a contract. I thought Adoree Jackson played very well. He broke up a touchdown at one point. Julian Love, same thing. He broke up a touchdown. Those guys played very well. Jihad Ward made a big play early. I mentioned Kayvon Thibodeau with the strip sack, fumble, pretty much iced the game. Guys are stepping up for this defense, and I feel really good for Don Martindale, a guy who spent a lot of time in Baltimore the past decade. I forget when he got there exactly, but he's been there for a while. Of course, Don Martindale comes over with the Giants this year. He's done a fantastic job as their defensive coordinator, so he gets a win against his old team, which probably feels amazing. And for the Giants offense, Daniel Jones, statistics-wise, once again, it wasn't the highest passing yards type game, but he was 19 of 27, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Technically a turnover, but I don't count it. It's whatever. So I thought Jones did a good job today. This is a Ravens team that led the league in interceptions coming into this game. I can't recall Daniel Jones having a near interception. Maybe there was one, but I know the Marcus Peters one, maybe, but it was pass interference, so that doesn't count. But Daniel Jones, for a 4-game stretch now, has played some of his best football as the Giants quarterback. And it sucks we can't see the full array of what Daniel Jones can be because this team does not have a wide receiver one, but they did get some wide receiver reinforcements with Wan'Dale Robinson coming back, and Wan'Dale actually caught his first career touchdown. Wan'Dale coming into this game only had 1 catch for 5 yards to his resume from that week 1 game versus the Titans, but Wan'Dale today, 3 catches, 37 yards, and a touchdown. I remember he caught a crosser at one point too, but yeah, Wan'Dale Robinson was a help for this offense. Nobody had a big receiving game. Daniel Bellinger, 5 catches, 38 yards, and a touchdown was the biggest receiving total for the Giants in this game. Saquon Barkley only 12 yards receiving on 3 catches. And Barkley on the ground was 22 carries, 88 yards, 3.8 yards per carry. It seemed like one of those games, once again, that the team the Giants are facing did not want to let Saquon Barkley beat them, which I completely get. Make the Giants beat you with the pass. So Saquon didn't have that many running lanes in this one. I wrote down 2 touchdowns for the rookies here, Bellinger, Wandale. That's awesome to see. Offensive line was pretty good for the most part, pass blocking wise. Maybe not run blocking wise, but pass blocking wise, they were good. According to PFF, the Giants' offensive line only allowed 9 pressures on 32 dropbacks. That's a good number. Evan Neal continues to improve after that terrible performance on national TV versus the Cowboys against, DeMarcus Lawrence and almost said Chandler Parsons, Micah Parsons. He has been much better. I think Evan Neal only allowed 1 pressure on the 32 dropback, so Evan Neal, the rookie right tackle, is playing much better as well. And as I mentioned, more fourth quarter magic. They trailed 20-10. They came back once again. And I'll admit, when Mark Andrews caught that touchdown, I was kind of thinking to myself, well, it was fun. Last week was fun versus the Packers, but, we might lose this game. And, 4-2 is okay. It's not too bad. But just when I was about to accept defeat, they come back. They keep responding. Every time it seems like a opponent scores a touchdown on the Giants, they always respond and come back. We saw this versus the Packers last week. It was the Mercedes Lewis touchdown to make it 17-3 Packers, and the Giants had a touchdown drive right after, I think. So this is a game as well where Mark Andrews scores his touchdown, makes it 20-10 in the fourth quarter. The Giants come right back down with a Daniel Bellinger 8-yard touchdown and make it a 3-point game. So that's what I mean. The Giants keep finding ways to respond, making timely plays on defense. They just keep making it happen somehow. And it's truly amazing. The Giants, in just about every game this year, have been just, I guess the less talented team, I guess is the nice way to say it. I guess Chicago has a worse roster than us, but the Giants in their other games against Dallas and today, Green Bay, whoever else we played, the Titans, the Giants have had the worst roster in these games. They are just so well coached. You have a quarterback in Jones who is just not putting the ball in harm's way anymore. You have Saquon doing a fantastic job kind of just carrying the offense. You have receivers making plays when they're asked to do it. You have good blocking for the most part, except for that Dallas game. And their defense is playing very well. I don't know where the Giants defense ranks off the top of my head, but you can tell just by watching these games, the Giants defense has definitely been a plus for them so far this year. So before we close off here, I actually took notes of some of the important plays in this game. I want to do this going forward just to give you guys a more accurate reaction of what happened in this game. So first quarter, Tay Crowder got burnt by Isaiah Likely 15-yard catch. Jahad Ward had a great sack in the first quarter to knock them out of field goal range. That was huge. The Giants in back-to-back weeks have had a huge sack to knock a team out of field goal range. We remember last week versus the Packers how Dexter Lawrence knocked them out of field goal range, and then this week it was Jahad Ward in the first quarter who knocked the Ravens out of field goal range. Daniel Jones was sacked in the first quarter. John Feliciano got blown up on that play. Marcus Johnson had a cool one-handed catch on the deflection, got a first down. Adoree Jackson had a great pass breakup on Devin Duvernay. Brian Dable challenged that one-handed catch by the Ravens. I forget who the guy was. It was like one of their backup tight ends. His last name was Oliver. Made a crazy one-handed catch, but it was an unsuccessful challenge for Brian Dable. But it was worth challenging in my opinion. I don't hate that. Julian Love had that pass breakup in the end zone. Kenyon Drake had the long touchdown. Gary Brightwell, I didn't bring this one up. Gary Brightwell had an awesome kick return. He brought it back to the 45-yard line. He was bouncing off guys and crap. So Gary Brightwell has not really been that impressive as a kick returner, but that kick return was great. The camera angle was awful. If you went to the game, you didn't get to see it, but go back and watch that Gary Brightwell camera work. They were showing it sideways at one point. It looked like, I don't know, it was awful. If you were watching that game intoxicated, you probably thought something was going on with you because the camera was just going crazy. So anyway, Daniel Jones found a 3rd and 14 completion to Darius Slayton for a first down. That was great pass protection. Sorry, I'm trying to watch the Yankees in the corner of my eye. They have 2nd and 3rd, nobody out, top of the 6th. Rizzo just got a double. They're up 3-2. Hopefully we see a game 5. Wan'Dale Robinson on a 3rd and 12 ran a cool whip route, got a first down out of it on 3rd and 12. There was a play where Marcus Johnson looked like he had a touchdown. Maybe it was thrown slightly behind him, but Marcus Peters made a great play, knocked it out in the end zone, so that saved a touchdown. But next play, Wan'Dale Robinson scored a touchdown, so no harm, no foul. And I mentioned this, Fabian Moreau dropped an interception in the third quarter. it just felt like an absolute killer. I mean, Mark Andrews was open. He had the ball in his chest. It popped out of his chest in the air, and Fabian Moreau had it in his hands. It seemed just like exactly like the play from last year when it might have been the same end zone too, maybe not. But anyway, it was the play where Adoree Jackson last year versus the Falcons dropped the interception, and the Falcons came back and beat us. It felt just like that. So after Moreau dropped the interception, I was like, oh crap, here we go again. We're going to lose this game because of this. But the Ravens had to settle for 3, so that difference from 3 points to 7 points, it probably saved the game, so that was huge. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I mean, look, we're in week 6 here, and the Giants are somehow 5-1, so I know some fans will probably be like, oh, I told you so, this team's better than you thought. Like, I feel like this Giants fan base has a lot of like I told you so syndrome, if that makes any sense. So, but like realistically, nobody that I knew exactly had high expectations coming into this year. I mean, I know some people that had them winning 5 games the entire year, and to have 5 wins in the first 6 games is unbelievable. So, instead of pointing in each other's faces and being like, oh, you thought we'd be bad, like, let's just enjoy it. It's been fun so far. And same goes with the Daniel Jones argument. I mean, like, I know people are already James Bradbury, of course, has an interception, but I know some people are ready to extend Daniel Jones, but like, why have that argument right now? Just let the season play out. I mean, the guy has shown he's a better quarterback than he has been the past 3 years. Let's just see how he plays. I mean, like, the Giants are only 6 weeks into the season. There's a lot of football left. I mean, let's see what happens. There's no point in arguing a Daniel Jones contract extension right now. No point in arguing a Saquon Barkley contract extension right now. By the way, Saquon got a little banged up with the shoulder once again in this game, so he's got to stay healthy. So there's no point in arguing that stuff right now. I know some fans want to talk about the future, but let's just live in the now. We're in the middle of the season here, having a good time, 5-1. So next week it's Jacksonville. It's at Jacksonville. The week after that is at Seattle. Bye week versus Houston at home, and then versus the Lions at home. Then it's Thanksgiving versus Dallas. So the next 4 games for the Giants are very winnable. Jacksonville, I believe, lost to the Colts today. The Colts are terrible. I don't care what anybody says. So they lost to the Colts today. Then Seattle, they won today versus the Cardinals, but the Cardinals they're not that good. So the Giants will either be favored to win or just very, very slight underdogs in these next upcoming 4 games. I don't see a reason for Jacksonville to be favored by any more than a field goal. Same goes for Seattle. I would think the Giants will be favored in the home game versus Houston. The Giants might be favored for the home game versus the Lions, and hopefully we get guys more healthy, whether it's Kadarius Toney or Azeez Ojulari, dare I say Kenny Golladay. So hopefully this team gets healthier as time goes on, and maybe they can make a run here. I will say at worst, the next 4 games here, the Giants at worst should go 2-2. I'm honestly hoping for 3-1. Obviously 4-0 is great, but 3-1 would be like my realistic expectation here. But even 2-2 at worst, I mean, at that point you would be 7-3 going into the Thanksgiving game versus Dallas, and you have a tougher-ish schedule towards the end of the season, but it's not impossible. You have Washington twice, the Colts, you do have Philly twice, you have Minnesota once. I mean, those teams are tougher, but still, this Giants team should find a way to get 8 or 9 wins, maybe even 10. We'll find out, but it's been fun so far. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this game. I'll do my usual talk to Entertainer on probably Tuesday or Wednesday. We're on his channel this week. I'll do my highlights reaction on probably Tuesday night, and what else is there? The Jaguars preview will be out on Friday, so hopefully I'll see you guys there. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. 5-1, man. Feels great, but anyway, I'll talk to you guys next time. Hopefully you enjoyed.